Once David became king, everything flourished under his leadership. But prosperity wasn't enough for David. He started to give free rein to his desires. While David may have been content to wait on God during those 7.5 years in Hebron, he made some bad choices during that time. And once he was king in Jerusalem, he added 5 more wives to the one he had. David's strength was his passion, but it was also his Achilles heel. Perhaps if David had given his whole heart to one woman, he would not have been tempted that day when he decided to stay home from war. Perhaps if he loved her and their children, his home would not have been a place where rebellion festered. David was the greatest king that Israel would ever have, but God's word records that he failed in his role as a husband and as a father. In the years to come, all of David's trouble would be the direct result of his rebellious and undisciplined sons. David was an amazing warrior king. Warring was his strength, but it seems he'd lost the vision for his true calling. When the time came for a battle, he decided to send his general off to the fight in his stead, while he lounged around his magnificent palace. Sometimes when we're not actively moving in our gifts, we get restless. And that's what happened to David. If David had been performing what he was uniquely called and equipped to do, he would never have been on his roof one night watching another man's wife bathing. The David we've come to know and love would have been leading the charge in war, fueled by his passion for God and hatred for the enemies of the Lord. David never refused to go into battle while his enemy Saul hunted him. So long as someone stalked him like a wild animal, David's character remained spotless and his passion fierce. But now that same heart had lost its edge. David had drifted and lost his way in the fog. He wasn't looking for evil. He just wasn't living where he should have been. Those empty, unguarded hours gave space for evil to make its enticing proposition in the form of a bathing woman. The shocking thing about all of this is how easy it was for David to fall into sin. He was a godly man, a man who refused time after time to step outside of God's plan for his life, no matter what it cost him. He'd spent years in caves and fields, hungry, and at times all alone, and yet he stayed true. But now, things in his life were easy. He saw no perceivable enemy. And that's when his real enemy showed up.